We're shown a slow motion replay of Big E nearly running into the referee, but when the Big Show connects the knockout punch, we're going back to regular speed.
The Miz.
Damn, WWE must want Byron Saxton to blow up or something, considering this is the second time in less than an hour that he is forced to interview his most hated superstar on SmackDown, The Miz. Those goggles continue to scare the crap out of me.
I told you so.
Did The Miz suddenly suffer a bad case of the flu in less than an hour? He sounds like he contracted the flu. What the hell happened between an hour ago and now? Honestly, now I care about that more than I care about this entire event, which isn't saying much to begin with.
I may have gotten mule kicked in the throat.
Ha, I get it, because Brother Nero is the obsolete mule, as quoted by Woken Matt Hardy. But even then, I still believe The Miz sounds more like he blew out his voice or has the flu.
I can barely talk, and I bet that makes everyone really happy.
It doesn't to me. I'm gonna go cry for a while, actually. Damn you, Jeff Hardy.
I'm going to feast on poor little wounded Rey Mysterio.
The Miz threatened to commit cannibalism on Rey Mysterio. That, added with the goggles, is making me more creeped out by The Miz. More than ever.
Me rolling the credits on Rey Mysterio.
You have to say Crown Jewel to roll the credits. At least that's how it works over here in the Sins territory. More CM Punk chants. Maybe the wrestlers shouldn't be saying I will become the best in the world all the time. That way they won't trigger the start of the CM Punk chants. Also, if WWE really wanted to ignore CM Punk in many ways as possible, why bother referring to the winner of this tournament as the freaking best in the world? I'm starting to think that maybe this is WWE's way of either mocking CM Punk or telling him that they miss him and want him back. Also, the CM Punk chants will likely give the Saudi Arabian government ideas on who WWE should bring to their next event, since I hear there's a 10-year contract with the kingdom. I'm predicting that right now, even if it likely won't happen. Let's try to zoom the camera as much as possible into this trophy.
Miz can't even talk!
Well, he sort of can, but either way, he doesn't need to talk in order to do well in the ring. That shouldn't affect his physical capabilities in the ring. WWE are dicks to The Miz by having Byron's interview with Rey Mysterio during The Miz's entrance.
He's probably cooking up a plan right now, or has a plan.
You got a problem with The Miz cooking up a plan to win this tournament, Ray? It's called strategy. You don't just enter with the idea of winging it. That's poor strategy because it is not strategy. Did I say any of that right?
Let's focus on the here and the now.
As usual, Corey Graves would be great at CinemaSins 2 expansion. Why bother talking about the past when tonight is about the present, despite the fact that the main event is sadly about the past and not the present?
This guy talks about being WWE Champion at WrestleMania.
You were doing the same thing when it came to your bullshit victory over Jerry the King Lawler at WrestleMania that same freaking year. No need to be hypocritical, Michael.
This was like 45 years ago.
The Miz wasn't even alive in 1973, Renee. That's over-exaggerating at its finest.
That one of these two men is going to go to the finals.
Wow, Corey. I had no idea that the winner of this match would be going on to the finals of the World Cup tournament. You're a genius, man.
Miz rolls him up, trying to win one here.
I bet Michael Cole realized that Christian Maracle was on to him if he said Miz was trying to steal the victory. You managed to escape this time, but I'm still lurking in the shadows.
Miz up over the top, sunset flip. Mysterio.
That's the second time in 15 seconds that The Miz has attempted a sunset flip. Also, after all the years of Ray rolling through the sunset flip every single time, why does anyone even bother to do that to him anymore? He'll just roll through and kick his opponent in the head every time. And how do people still fall for that?
Oh! Threw it a knee right to the face.
That was clearly a kick right to the side of the head, not a knee to the face. Just like in his previous match with Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio wastes time posing instead of going for the victory, which allows his opponent to recover.
Have a broken jaw. Cover.
Ray suddenly realized that he's in a match, not a photo shoot.
Cole, I remember once upon a time you were a big Miz fan.
Oh god, don't freaking remind us of Michael Cole's creepy erection for The Miz years ago. Please, just don't.
Everything he does turns to gold.
Then why the hell are you annoyed with The Miz if you basically admitted that everything he does turns to gold? I think Michael might secretly still have his creepy erection for The Miz. I'm on to you.
Ray.
Oh! I admit that is still a very impressive move. I said it before for SmackDown 1000, and I'll say it again for Crown Jewel. For an event that's completely outrageous, it has quite the center movers, even in freaking Part 3.
But it is clear Ray is hurt.
If it was clear, then why did you even bother bringing it up?
By taking days off because
Ray punches Miz in the face, then proceeds to look at the crowd once again. I'm tempted to make a bonus round, but by the time we get to Part 4, I will likely have forgotten about it. Also, was that The Miz who made that weird noise that sounded like it came from one of those weird rubber chicken toys? You know, the ones that make a squeaky noise whenever you squeeze it or make it seem like it's having sex with a pig toy? Yeah, I've seen that video. It's fucking hilarious.
Rey Mysterio.
Well, thanks for reminding us of what his name was. Seriously, Michael says Rey Mysterio and then says nothing afterwards.
To be called best in the world, that really would be the top of his resume.
Fucking what? This match with The Miz and the outcome of this tournament would be the top of Ray's resume if he wins it all? Well, that's just bullshit right there.
His resume.
What a joy.
Here's another sin-off for that, no pun intended. Awesome move from The Miz. We're on the third part of these sins, and only now are the matches starting to pick up. Look at me and my glorious teeth. I love touching my teeth. Be jealous, all who have dental flaws in their teeth.
Miz has perfectly natural teeth.
Except for the time when Miz got some teeth knocked out of him a few years ago.
You and your revisionist history, Cole.
You and your lack of research, Corey.
Well, this is great strategy.
Is it weird that I found Miz thrusting forward into Ray to be a little awkward and somewhat uncomfortable? Try listening to that with your eyes closed.
What lengths will he go to make it to the final?
What kind of question is that? After all these years of The Miz doing anything necessary to achieve his goals, it's pretty obvious that he'll do anything to make it to the finals.
Miz is not known for submissions.
And yet he's been doing the figure 4 leg lock for the past 5.5 years or so. Sure, he's not known for doing submissions.
The guy's got black belts in martial arts you didn't even know existed.
Probably the reason we didn't know the Miz's black belt in martial arts existed is because they don't, Corey. You're likely just making stuff up as we go along.
Cover! Almost stole one there.
That's not stealing a victory, you son of a bitch!
Remember Miz Jitsu?
Miz Jitsu.
Wait, Miz is a black belt?
If Michael Cole doesn't know about the Miz or his fantasy black belt in martial arts, then nobody does. He's the one who used to have the creepy erection.
You train with the brother of Napoleon Dynamite?
Okay, that line was funny as hell. Here's another sin-off. Here, get a random shot of the World Cup trophy that we've been showing constantly for nearly every match with the exception of one so far.
To determine the best in the world.
We have heard the phrase to determine the best in the world more times than I could count, and I'm truly getting irritated here. If I have to hear that phrase one more damn time, I'm throwing in 20 sins. One for now, but you've been warned. Then again, they likely won't listen.
Display the World Cup trophy in Monroe's room.
Corey actually believes that the Miz and Maryse will place the World Cup trophy in Monroe's room. No offense, but she can't be the best in the world yet. No fair. I'm just saying.
Could go out and line dance with them?
Will you two please stop talking about what the Miz and Maryse would possibly do with the trophy? The Miz has a body scissors locked in on Ray, looking to squeeze the already injured ribs, which is something you guys have been making a big deal about since he entered for this semifinals match. Do I have to do the commentary for this show now?
I think Cole line dancing.
Cole line dancing.
And look at it again. Miz, great strategy.
Finally, somebody acknowledged that. How many times am I going to get pissed off for this one show? Please tell me I'm almost done. Wait, I'm not even halfway through the show? Why did I bother to take this job 4.5 years ago?
He knows exactly
Biting.
where he gets in the ring.
It's in your water bottle.
Just because Corey thinks the Miz is a brilliant strategist, Renee Young believes that his water bottle had been spiked with some sort of potion to make him cheer for Miz.
Uh-oh. Oh!
As usual, the first time Ray goes through the bottom rope to the outside floor, he rolls through and gets back to his feet. But then the second time, he lands flat on his chest. Just for once, I'd like to see him roll through twice in a row. Who else noticed that the Miz was grabbing Ray's butt the whole time he had him in the abdominal stretch? The Miz is in the position for Ray to connect the 619, and Ray is doing everything he can to not hit the 619. No wonder he loses this match. That's literally the second time Ray has gone for the sunset flip maneuver, and that's also the second time he botched it. Only this time more miserably than the last. That is no doubt the funniest botch of this match.
619!
Win the fucking match! Ray's pathetic mistake of posing for the fans for the 100th time, which causes him to freaking lose, makes him deserve these 10 sins. Will he ever learn that posing for the fans is the worst strategy ever? This pinfall should not have counted, considering Miz's arm was underneath Ray's shoulder the entire time.
The Miz took advantage of an earlier attack by Randy.
Don't start making excuses for Ray's loss, Michael. It's his own damn fault that he lost.
The winner of this tournament, the best in the world.
Well, don't say I didn't warn you. I'm getting sick of constantly hearing that phrase every few minutes. Wait, what happened to the pyrotechnics Seth Rollins was using earlier? No fair, why can't we see them again? That made the entrance more kick-ass. Second match tonight, and still no Raw Tag Team title in sight. I thought this guy loved being a double champion.
One of the great rivalries.
No offense, but I wouldn't label Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler to be one of the great rivalries. Nothing against them, but the only thing I really remember from this feud is the crowd constantly counting down the clock like it was the Royal Rumble match back at Extreme Rules. Seth Rollins unintentionally mooning the crowd.
The winner of this match will face The Miz.
Duh!
These two superstars know each other so well.
By this point, nearly every wrestler in the WWE know each other so well, even if they didn't face off in the ring. It's called watching and strategizing based on previous matches of your opponent. Drew McIntyre has the same look he had on earlier, where he seems to want to either kick Dolph Ziggler's ass, leave him, or a combination of the two. I'd watch my back if I were Dolph.
Miz has been fairly unscathed.
We're still talking about The Miz? This match involves Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler. Pay attention, you idiot. Yet another random shot of the screen above the ring. How many has that been tonight? I lost count on that too.
McIntyre barking at Rollins.
That's clearly the referee who's barking at Seth Rollins. I don't hear Drew speaking at all, so how can Michael hear him? Especially since Drew is far away from the commentator desk and closer to the wrestlers. I don't know why I'm standing in front of you just to do nothing but stare, but roll with it. I want to piss off Christian Maracle more than he already is.
Get your little buddy DQ.
Yeah, Drew, you go get your little buddy some DQ ice cream. Oh, wait. Also, Seth knows that he is pretty much safe from Drew McIntyre since the referee is watching them and could disqualify Dolph if Drew laid a hand on Seth. So why isn't he just ignoring Drew and getting back into the ring? That must be really painful to Dolph's hands, raking them against the top rope. At least Seth's face is entirely protected by Dolph's hands, despite that not being part of his plan. Oh god, don't you fucking dare start telling Seth to do something again. It never worked before, Dolph. Stop taunting him all the fucking time. Once again, see what I mean about the taunting? All Dolph has done is allow Seth to recover and get back into the match. I reckon.
Dolph looks like he's getting a little frustrated.
Does that seriously look like frustration to you, Renee? Because to me, Dolph looks like he's confident and in control of the match. Where do you see the frustration?
Alright, there was a brief moment, you're right, but he switched.
Now Renee believes Dolph was frustrated, but then he switched back to confidence. To me, ever since Seth kicked out of the pinfall, Dolph has looked confident. Still no signs of the supposed frustration look Renee saw.
Realizes he's in the ring with a wounded animal.
Well, considering Dolph also had a match earlier against Kurt Angle, wouldn't the effects of that match make him a wounded animal as well? Hell, he was in the ankle lock for a long time during the match, which he seems to have forgotten about by this point.
Now Ziggler just mocking Rollins.
Really? Giving Seth a small kick to the side of the head qualifies as mocking him? I don't seem to recall Seth brushing his foot against his opponent's faces.
Fights out of it.
Seth clutches his head before he even bounced off the turnbuckle, making it seem like he hit his head before actually connected with the turnbuckle itself. Also, even if Seth didn't react a little too early, his head never even connected with the turnbuckle in the first place, so that made it even more awkward.
Dolph's getting frustrated.
I hope Renee doesn't confuse that with confidence.
Now Rollins stacking up Ziggler.
Roll up city, I suppose.
How's that in the tank right now?
I bet Rey Mysterio feels a little jealous because he did that move twice and botched it both times, yet Dolph Ziggler successfully connected it without a botch the first time. The referee's over-exaggeration on the word no. I hate it when he does that. If he's trying to be really dramatic, he's going overboard with the trying.
Rollins' confidence.
Top rope push-ups or something.
These two superstars know each other.
And how many more times are we going to hear the commentator stating the obvious fact that the wrestlers know each other so well? That's not the first time I've seen it in this match, I believe.
Rollins now.
I don't know why I randomly dove outside the ring to take out Drew McIntyre, but just roll with it.
McIntyre.
The referee has no peripheral vision and could have easily seen Seth fall onto the ring canvas. How did he not figure out that Seth got thrown off by Drew, who was coincidentally at that side of the ring as well? Or does he think Seth was stupid enough to randomly jump and splash the canvas for no reason at all? Either way, it's a sin. The wind is causing Drew to accidentally start chewing on his hair. Or was he doing that on purpose, considering he's the Scottish psychopath?
McIntyre said he would make
What's with the spinning and circle motions Dolph is doing with his fingers?
It doesn't seem fair that you would advance to the finals.
Oh, shut up. Can we go with one night? Just one night! Without having to hear Byron Saxon's constant whining and complaining about life being unfair. Life is unfair. That's how it works. Get over it.
Best in the world!
I should have placed a freaking bet with the idea that I would receive $10 for every time the phrase best in the world is mentioned. I'd have over $1,000 right about now.
You don't want to miss the biggest event of the year.
The way WrestleMania has been the last few years, people don't seem to mind missing it, and that's a freaking shame. Here we go again. This is just like when AJ Styles battled Shinsuke Nakamura at so many consecutive pay-per-view events, only with less low blows.
Oh, Wendy!
It's kind of pointless to be playing this promo video considering this time the match between AJ and Joe has nothing to do with Wendy.
Oh, AJ.
After Samoa Joe has used that phrase one too many times, I'm kind of getting bored from it.
Our final chapter.
It's sad when the only bit of hype you can use for this title match is the same hype we've used for both Hell in a Cell and Super Showdown. If there's nothing new, then why not just have the WWE title match take place without a video package? It's been done before.
Make this any more personal.
Actually, he hasn't made this personal at all. All Joe did was attack AJ from behind, threaten to take his title, and the end. Nothing personal came from this reignited feud.
This rivalry has been going on since SummerSlam.
You're wrong for two reasons. The first reason is that this feud has been going on since before SummerSlam even took place. Otherwise, SummerSlam would have been the first time that Samoa Joe appeared to AJ, thus beginning the feud. And the other reason that you're wrong is because this rivalry halted for nearly a full month before reignited only 3 days ago. Nearly 30 seconds of waiting for AJ's music to hit.
Last year, that's where AJ Styles...
Damn, that pyro blast was awesome. I was wondering what happened to the pyrotechnics for the wrestler's entrance. Here's another sin-off.
Meanwhile, thousands of miles away.
To demand a match with Samoa Joe? Absolutely not.
I can understand the bad idea of challenging Samoa Joe to a match with your title on the line, but AJ Styles has managed to retain his title 100% of the time throughout this feud, so I'm pretty sure he's not that worried.
The emotional onslaught.
Come on, Renee, that kick wasn't that hard.
Samoa Joe trying to beg off the attack.
Samoa Joe isn't begging for mercy whatsoever. What are you talking about, Michael?
This has just gotten so personal.
I am honestly shocked that we're hearing the phrase, "this feud is so personal," almost as many times as we're hearing the phrase, "best in the world" tonight. We're close to an end of part 3, and I still don't give a shit about the #1 trend or this event in particular.
It's psychological.
Seriously? A punch that clearly never even came into contact with Samoa Joe's head was enough to make him fall to the ground? I'm sorry, but when you compare the sizes of these two, that sequence is not believable at all.
Driven into the post.
Don't forget to mention the fact that Samoa Joe drove himself into the ring post in that moment, whereas AJ Styles did absolutely nothing to make it happen.
Joe with
Come on!
Renee Young doesn't like Samoa Joe doing suicide dives, but I guarantee if it was AJ doing it, she wouldn't give 2 fucks about it.
Cover for the championship.
AJ clearly kicks out at 1, but the referee insists on continuing the count to 2.
He may have done it right there. Hooks.
I'm pretty sure Joe knew that AJ was so close to the ropes, and yet he still decides to hook the inside leg rather than the outside leg. Is he trying to lose on purpose?
And now the trash talking begins.
That wasn't even trash talking. All Joe did was tell AJ to get up. If he was trash talking, he'd be trying to get on AJ's nerve by insulting his family for the 100th time.
This match for the WWE Championship.
In case you thought this match was also about being the best in the world. I think that would be understandable considering we have not once shut up about it all night.
Need to crown a new...
What are the fans even chanting or cheering for? They go quiet, but then they suddenly get louder and repeat. Does anyone know what that was about?
Uh-oh, Styles.
The more you stand around posing, the more you will be unsuccessful in connecting the Styles Clash. And after all the times AJ gets countered when he poses like that, why does he even bother anymore?
Joe.
The referee starts counting before AJ even pins Joe at all.
Cover.
Not that many center movers during this event, no shocker there, but I'll definitely remove one here for the quickness into the Coquina Clutch. That was actually awesome.
Here it comes.
Put out. Got him.
I'm throwing in another 5 sins because not only was Samoa Joe watching AJ Styles the entire time, but are you telling me that a single phenomenal forearm was enough to finish off Joe in a 10-minute match where Joe dominated the majority of it? Because I call bullshit on that.